Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 8 Miami Grand Prix. We're here in a wet-infested qualifying session. 13 drivers. We're going to have one more joining, Nathan, to make it 14. A bit of a late start this one, as obviously real-life news is coming out. Everyone on the wet tyres, no surprise there. Right, we're here for round 5 of 23 of this Tier 2 Season 8 season. 4 races in. We are in both Tier 1 and Tier 2. We are yet to see a wet session, and this is the first then. You can see Cal 5 sliding out in Sector 1 there. We've got 2 new debutants, both in the Alpines. Alpine, after quite the horrendous past couple of races, they need a bit of new light here. So 2 new debutants of HBR Cure and Nikos. So they will make their debut today. Frosty Life in the pit lane. Josh Hewitt beginning a lap then. Bluey Doggo on an out lap. AFC Callum, Callum H, Cargo's Blong, Seb, Chazmeister, and championship leader Eggy, and last week's race winner, Lugovic 09. Right then. Yeah, a lot of news going on, so this time is going to be a bit busy anyway. Don't know where Nick is. He was supposed to join. Oh well. Right, Josh Hewitt then, approaching 1 minute on his lap time. He's got the Alfa Romeo behind him as he heads through probably the only dry part of the whole track underneath that little bridge. Down the long back straight, so easy, especially in the wet, to get it wrong on the braking and go straight on. It's a very tricky braking zone. Right then, first time on the board will be Josh Hewitt. 2247, it'll come across the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 42.759, and the Alfa Romeo behind him of Eggy will begin his lap. So then, sprinting down into turn 1, usually in the dry gear 8, braking at the black box, hard on the right hand corner before giving up on the left. Nathan joins, that's great, but you can take it so cautiously now with full wet weather. You can't just blast the throttle through these corners. It's so hard to go full throttle at times. Swoop it left, swoop it back right, quick chicane there, and then a corner that can come at you real quick and mess you up. And then the long, dragging left-hand corner. It never feels like it's going to end. Eventually it does. Turn in tight on the left, gear up on the curb, and finish Sector 1 before you have a bit of a break, a long kink straight. I'd say that's 4 races in a row now. Saudi, Australia, Baku and Miami all have kink straights. We go next time to Imola, which I guess is the same a lot. Yeah. As he heads through the second sector now. The split was... can't even identify it. Oh, it's coming up. Right, heading through a pretty much 90-degree corner here for the second sector split, 15.173. Now foot flat to the floor. Along the back straight, we have 5 times on the board. 3 seconds covers Bluey Doggo to Josh Hewitt. Unfortunately, we've not got Sin Icon Racing. I'll pull up the standings here. Yep. Right. Eggy, 935, championship leader by 11 points ahead of Logan, crosses the line as AFC Callum is out of the session. Eggy only goes 5th, 1.8 seconds down. We haven't seen these drivers in wet conditions yet, but at the moment, we know Josh Hewitt can shine in them, and by half a second ahead of his teammate, and just splitting them as Cargo's Blong, he's looking pretty good. So yeah, Sven leads the championship by 11 points ahead of Logan, who is 3 points ahead of his teammate Cal, who is 1 point ahead of Josh Hewitt, who is 2 points ahead of Sin Icon's not racing today, and then a further 11 points back is Frosty Life, and then everyone else 11 points further behind, etc. So Seb, currently with 14 points, he's going to be looking to gain more points today. AlphaTauri, who have had a great formation in the last couple of races, but unfortunately points-wise it hasn't led them to much. As there we go, Nathan's in his car, the only remaining Ferrari now, as AFC Callum did crash on the middle straight as Cure, the debutant, by a tenth and a half, goes ahead of Josh Hewitt then. He was going to be pretty much up there. A few of his time trials were similar to even Logan's, so do expect him up there in the action. We saw a debutant 1 season ago at Miami win on debut. That was of course Laitan, the smallest winning margin in the league's history of 8 thousandths. So you never know what could happen 1 season on. But yeah, I don't know about the race. Apparently it'll be dry. As Josh Hewitt goes back in front of Cure. As Nikos just under a second off the pace. Frosty 1.3 down. Neither time set from either of the McLarens yet. Callum on his outlap at the moment. Got a pole position back in Australia. As yeah, McLaren lead by 28 points ahead of Alfa Romeo. Cargos Blanc needs to get the, more points to challenge, as they're 9 points ahead of Aston Martin, Frosty and Jake, who's not racing tonight. And then they're 2 points ahead of AlphaTauri, who I'm sure are going to want to climb up that order more. McLaren's still in the pit lane then. Right, Frosty, Nick, Seb, Cargos one in the pit, Cure up by 2/10 in the first sector. Josh Hewitt around the final corner, 5 seconds down. He'll be coming into the pit lane with just over 8 minutes to go. So Cure up by 2/10. He's got the Mercedes of Bluey Doggo in front of him. He'll hopefully get out of his way. It's a tight technical part of the track. Hopefully he does. Cure may have backed off on this lap. Seems like it. Seb heading through the chicane now. Yeah, Cure's fully backed off. Blue Doggo fully blocking the track there, and Seb has to avoid him as Nick goes up to third, giving Alpine something to be hopeful of. Seb up by 8/10 here. He could challenge his teammate as he heads through the final corner. In the dry you have to worry about really, but these last 2 corners in the wet can certainly count. Climb up the gears, full throttle, and across the line then. A 42.4 is the time to beat. He crosses the line. It's a 42.6. He goes P3. It's AlphaTauri, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Alpine. Bluey on the inters for some reason. Callum now around the final corner. Let's see what he can do. 13.3. Solid middle set to them. A 42.4 is the time to beat. Through the final corner goes the Haas at their home Grand Prix. It's going to be a 41.8, and by over half a second, Callum now is on provisional pole. If the track is improving, then there's your answer, but I'm pretty sure it's remaining wet the whole session, but actually the rain does look a little less compared to how it started. Alright, give me a minute. Crazy, absolutely crazy. Right, just under 5 minutes to go then. A few of them heading out. Right, Eggy on the inters now. Seems like the track is ramping up as he goes P2. Almost done with all this news, guys. The race will be uninterrupted, but unlike this. Get that 8th. Right. I think that's all of it done. Eggy comes into the pits then with just over 3 minutes remaining. Then the top 7 in the pit lane. Car goes long on the intermediates on an invalid lap. Both McLarens still yet to set any lap whatsoever, but Cow is now heading out onto the track. Intermediate tyres, so it is changing conditions here from full wets to inters. And it looks like most drivers will only get one shot at this. It's going to be very interesting. Who's going to... oh, is it? Nope, that angle gave a wrong impression. Who's going to be the last over the line? Who's going to gain the most time as the track is improving second by second? Seb and Q are on their outlap. Same with Callum. He's on provisional pole at the moment. So we've had Cal, who took pole in the opening race. We had Sin Icon, who took pole in Saudi. We had Callum, who was on provisional pole now, take pole in Australia. And we had Logan take his first ever pole last week, last time out. It's 4 different pole sitters in 4 different races. And if we add Marine and Taves from last season, that's 6 in a row at the moment. The record is 9. Will it be 7 different pole sitters in 7 different races? Eggy's yet to have a pole, he's yet to have a win, and he leads the championship after finishing on the podium in every single race so far this season. Josh Hewitt yet to have a pole. Could today be that day in the wet on the intermediate tyres? Hewitt, a pole on debut for him would be great. Seb, what about him? He's never had a pole. Most races without a pole, I think. In his 96th race. They're all gearing up for one final run. Nathan's still in the pit lane. I think he may be starting at the back here, and he may find himself on the 7th row with his teammate if everyone underneath Callum can set a lap time. So here comes Logan then into turn 1 for his one and only run, like most sessions then, into the right-hand corner, taking it quite cautiously. He knows this lap is going to count for a lot of his race. No sudden slides, keeping it smooth. Right, into turn 4 then. 5, not taking too much curb. No mistakes at the moment so far. Going to see the first sector split as he heads through the left-hand corner then. They'll ride over the curb, and the split is a 35.6. We'll see the Alpha Tauri behind him of Seb, a 35.6. Seb has done a 35.3. 3/10 out of Logan at the moment. But Cal, he's heading through the middle sector, 36.3, 13.2. It's looking good. Logan exiting the straight. Callum, what about him? As he's about to finish the second sector split. He's flying at 12.4. What about Eggy? He's just started his lap. He'll be one of the last over the line. Josh up by a second. He's equalled his teammate, Cure. He's just heading past the straight. Cargo's Blonde will finish 8th. Bluey Doggo goes 10th. Nathan will be 13th the best. Who's next across the line? Here come the McLarens then. Cal across the line. It's a 41.6 by 2.5 tenths. Let's see what everyone else can do to challenge that. Here comes Callum then, who's going to probably snatch back pole position from Cal 5. Across the line comes the Haas at their home Grand Prix by nearly a second. He takes pole back. And what about Logan then? 12.7. It seems like he's going to be a bit down on what it takes for pole position, but it's not going to even be anywhere near then because he's spun at the final corner, and that could mean he'll start this race last. Can anyone else challenge as Seb crosses the line? What can he do? It's pole position for Seb, a 40.0. What can his teammate do, who's 1.8 seconds up and 2.3 he needs? Cure, half a second off, but he's on the front row. Logan will start this race from the back. Seb, who's never been on pole before, could be seeing it, and it seems like it will either be an Alpha Tauri, but which one? Is it Seb or Josh? It's going to be Seb on pole position, unless Eggy can deny him. It's an Alpha Tauri front row lockout, and Seb, for the first time ever, could be on pole position ahead of Josh Hewitt. And whatever the case, it's going to be 7 different pole sitters and 7 different races. It's going to be 5 out of 5 to start the season. But will it be Seb or will it be Eggy? A 40.0 to beat. Eggy crosses the line. It's not enough. He's P5. It is Alpha Tauri. Front row lockout in Miami. And Seb is taking him 96 attempts. But for the first time, X3BDV1 is on pole position. And look at that. On their debut, Alpha Tauri, and then the 2 debutants of Nick ahead of Cure in 3rd and 4th. Alright, overcast day it seems. Right, let's quickly take a photo of the grid.
Haven't had that many restarts recently, but there's always a jinx, but hopefully not today. Right then, 29 laps ahead of us for the Miami Grand Prix. 14 drivers. Let's see if AlphaTauri can really take home maximum points this time. They've been great in formation. They've been a little on the edge with Seb holding up others in Baku at the safety car to make it a double stack possible. Hopefully they can maintain it well. With the 5 lights coming on then, it's the Miami Grand Prix as the revs rise, and it's lights out and away we go. AlphaTauri formation then into turn 1 then, followed by the 2 Alpines challenging. Eggy on the inside as Callum tries to challenge, making it 3 wide, but the Alpines remain in front. Callum then Eggy, then Cal up to 7th, with his teammate Logan already making up 3 places then, as he's got Cargos Blong in front of him. As we make our way into turn 4 for the first time, they're all behaving very sensibly. It's AlphaTauri, then Alpine, then the Haas, then Eggy, Chazmeister, Cal, Callum, Cargos Blong and Logan right on the back of him. Frosty down to 12th. Nathan and Bluey Doggo complete the 7th lining as we head onto the middle straight for the first time. All in a DRS slipstream effect as Logan once again getting past one of the cars at the back, slipstreaming his way through as Cal versus Chazmeister versus AFC Callum making it 3 wide. Could he get the pair of them down on the brakes, down on the inside? AFC Callum gets up in a 7th, double move there as Callum goes off a little bit, still fighting Chazmeister as they're going to go wheel to wheel through this tight chicane coming up. Cal gets forced off a little bit there, he has to back out, and Chazmeister maintains P8 with Logan right on the back of his teammate already. These two close in the World Championship and close on track at the moment. So out in front, Small Nick blasting his battery here to try and make it a disruption to 2x2. Small Nick, he has to back off for now. Josh Hewitt stays in P2 with his teammate right on the back of him, telling him to get a move on. Let's enable all this. Chazmeister versus Cal again, heading into the final couple corners as we finish the first lap. And once again, Seb has led so many laps of the last couple Grand Prix. It's a shame he's yet to get one of the wins. Can tonight be that? Usually in Tier 2, it's where you end, not where you finish. As the 2 McLarens wheel to wheel, they've already had their inner outings in Australia at the moment. Logan, no competition there, gets ahead of his teammate who's struggling at the moment. Biggest starter, Logan, 5 places from last. And the only other gainer is AFC Callum. Everyone else has either lost or stayed where they are. Got to be the calmest Tier 2 start I've ever seen. Right, there we go then. Right, Small Nick on the soft. Same with Eggy. Everyone else on the medium compound tyres. So that's good from Logan. As he's coming under pressure from his teammate again. As they're fighting Chazmeister. The McLaren has nowhere to go. So Logan on the inside gets ahead of the Williams. Cal's going to have to try the outside of the Williams. We've got 2 wide behind. It's going to be a 5-car battle here as we head into the straight. Nearly 4 wide. And the McLaren's losing out is Cal. And Chazmeister hits Logan and both McLarens go off because of it. As Chazmeister drops down, the McLaren seem to still stay ahead. Chazmeister going to keep his nose in there. And round the outside goes Cal. And they can keep it enough space Cal's to go across. Didn't think he was going to work out. And Frosty on the inside trying to gain a position. But that allows Logan to absolutely clear ahead of them. As Chazmeister got it all wrong on the exit. As Kua gets past his teammate. And Cow, is he going to try and move down the inside? He's lagging a little bit, which is a firm no. So Cal ahead of Chazmeister, 3 wide there. There goes Cargos Blong down the inside. These two have had their coming together, and there's another one. Into the last corner, Chazmeister's been spun with Frosty. He got connected and he got spun. Nathan up to 11th, Bluey 12th. They've avoided the chaos. Frosty carrying on. Chazmeister into the pits. And yeah, Cal and Cargos Blong, they came together a few times in Baku. It's carried on here in Miami. As Logan pretty much on his own now. Massive gap in front to AFC Callum, who's also kind of on his own. Bit of a train forming behind the Alpines as the top 2 are streaking away a bit. So it should be medium, hard, or soft, depending on tyre wear around here, if they can really go that long. Right then, Chazmeister puts the softs on. 2 AlphaTauris, be good to see them battle, but they're just going to try and DRS train each other. 32% and 24%. Eggy, championship leader behind 3 cars here, as Cal is messing up quite a few times with lag. But at the moment, bit of a train forming then behind Kua. But it's a great debut so far, as Callum in the background there gets it all wrong. Great debut for the 2 debutants in 3rd and 4th in the Alpines. This looks like they're going to swap again. Kua getting caught on the straight.
going defensive to keep hold of 4th, so Alpine maintain the 3rd and 4th. And Nick on the softs is hopefully going to try and catch up to the AlphaTauris. The gap is around 1 second. But he doesn't get the DRS he needs. Into turn 1, the Alpine goes defensive once again. Does Cure on Callum. And so far it's working. Eggy on those softs will be wanting to make his way further up. But they'll pit probably before, so the undercut could work. The undercut around here is pretty powerful. So on lap 4 of 29 then, it's been one of the calmest starts to a Tier 2 Grand Prix in a while. The only real collision being Chasmeister and Frosty at this corner. And I guess the exit of the middle straight, there was a bit of a half spin from the Williams. Right then. Change of position between the two Alpines. Callum has a front row seat and Cure gets back ahead of Nick. So AFC Callum in a bit of a world of his own at the moment. P7, I'm not too sure. Hang on. I'll check if he has he scored any points this season. He's really not liking that part of the track as Logan's gaining a bit of time on him. Here comes Callum then on the back of Nick. Gaining in the slip, using his battery. Will he try the inside as the Alpines are trying to fight one another? Down the inside then goes the Haas trying to challenge. The Alpine will get better momentum around the outside. But they're still going to remain wheel to wheel, heading through the final couple corners. Then the Haas versus the Alpine, wheel to wheel. Eggy's got a front row seat to this. And could Eggy try a double move? Callum splashing. Nick's without DRS. Down the inside goes the AlphaTauri to make it a double overtake potentially as the Haas goes off. The Alfa Romeo, should I say. Still wheel to wheel is the Nick and Eggy. As Callum's lost out there. And can Eggy hold it down the inside to make this double overtake complete? They're still going wheel to wheel. And Eggy gets the double overtake. Max Verstappen-esque as he's now just got to keep within DRS of Cure, and potentially 3rd could be his. Championship leader making his way calmly and collectively up the field. Callum got connected with Nick there to go off track. Speaking of Callum, he's got 0 points, so yeah, P7 at the moment is good for Ferrari. Logan gonna hunt him down though. And the AlphaTauri staying close to one another. Eggy not quite close enough with barely any battery. The Alpines with the same. And Callum and Eggy is the same. So the two soft runners next to each other now. Well then, AlphaTauri still lead in formation, 1.9 ahead of Cure, who's under pressure from Eggy. Will go to the inside, and right behind them, Cal will go to the inside, and both Alpines are getting overtaken. Eggy to the inside, gets into P3, but Nick holds on to Callum for P5. And now that allows the championship leader up into the podium spot, and he's under pressure from Cure with DRS behind, who's going to try and come back at him. Eggy goes defensive to the inside. Cure still allows himself to dive it down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Eggy tries to switch back. Cure will have more momentum and the track to stay ahead. It's a good battle so far. Look at that, they lost 6/10 due to all that battling. But at the moment, the two debutants making their mark to show these two are probably going to be two to watch for in this fight, as it's getting sunnier. And then Eggy with the DRS and the slipstream now, but barely any ERS to play for. We got a yellow, and it's Cal in the first sector there. Something's happened. Did he get spun? Whatever the case, Eggy has got ahead of Cure now. Nick still holding off Callum. AFC now 3 seconds behind. Logan's actually keeping at equal distance to AFC. So pretty even race pace right there. Jeff definitely even. Look at the ERS, it's the same. Right then, Eggy leading a train then of 3 cars behind him. Cure in the slipstream, but is he too far back to try and move? At the moment, yes. They're all bunching up. Nick had to go wide there to avoid his teammate. That allows Cal on the inside to sneak an opportunity of a move, and that's allowed Callum to get right past and split the Alpines. Now can he defend, and can he get the other one? Once again, Nick has to avoid the car in front. He's braking later, and that's lost him time. Yellow, and it's Chasmeister. Lost a little bit of wing there. Bad day gets worse at Williams. And when is it going to be the case that these two AlphaTauris swap as Cal and Q now go wheel to wheel? So the Haas is making his way up even further, as he's now going to try and get in the slip as he bangs wheels with Q right there, going through the kink straight. As there we go, Josh takes the lead ahead of Seb. Eggy far enough ahead, and now the two Alpines are battling with the Haas into the end of the straight, and Callum has got the pair of them. Eggy not saved any ERS. The two Alpines, Nick's definitely saving a lot. Chasmeister in. Be interesting. If there's no safety car, the win is between these two at the moment, unless Eggy can hunt them down. It's going to be interesting when strategy comes around. Callum on the back, but not close enough. Seems like Nick has dropped off a bit as well. And Logan's completely caught up to the back of Callum, nearly within the 1 second range. Just the gap between Callum to the DRS train is stabilised. So Logan, who started last, made his way up to 9th after just 1 or 2 laps. He's had a bit of a stall at the moment. McLaren, who lead the Constructors' Championships, currently running 8th and 11th. AlphaTauri, who are currently 4th, run 1st and 2nd. Alpine, who are right down in 8th, run 5th and 6th. Eggy's maintaining that record as he has a little bit of a wiggle there of 100% podium rate. This would be 5 in a row for Sven. But now he's going to be under pressure from Callum, who was 6th, as we got a yellow into the McLaren of Cal, who spun, lost a bit of his end plate. As we look further back, Callum was 6th, Callum was 4th, Callum was 6th, Callum was 5th, he was 4th, now he is in 3rd as the AlphaTauri swap once again. Callum making his way up, making the moves. Alpine, after all that, they were 3rd and 4th, now they've lost out, they're 5th and 6th, and it seems like they're losing time to Eggy and Callum. Eggy struggling a little bit there. The softs dying off a little bit. Same with Nick, who's not even got DRS on his teammate. The gap still staying a bit constant. Logan just missing out on DRS. As you see Seb on the inside line a bit there. Josh, should I say, with the DRS. No one close enough for any sort of move, but yeah, that's a disaster for Cal with his wing damage. Chasmeister carrying on, he's about to be lapped as into the pits comes Nick to get rid of those soft compound tyres as early as lap 9. So he will put on the hard compound tyres to go to the end of the race. A little slow with the front left. I'm joking, he obviously let it go too late. Josh 8 tenths behind Seb now. They both want to win this race. Josh has won a race this season as they're lapping Chasmeister. Is that given? No. Yeah, Josh won the opening race and then he got disqualified in the next because he jumped the start, and then there was 3 safety cars back to back to back. It's Blue Doggo, 3 second first time penalties. The AlphaTauris nearly make contact. No change of position behind them, but Logan is now in a position to overtake Callum for 6th. Nick came out in 10th on the hard compound tyres then. 25.7 behind. It'll be interesting to see who pits now, and which one of the AlphaTauris will pit first. Josh in the slipstream of his teammate. He goes to the inside. This is a change of leadership once again for the two AlphaTauris. Seb on the outside lets his teammate go, but doing so has lost them a bit of time. Right up to the wall goes the two leaders, and Callum and Eggy slipstreaming one another to get closer to the top 2, and Q just holding on. It was 25, now it's 24. Nick is gaining a lot of time on the leaders, but obviously with having to go through 20 odd laps on those hards, they're going to be in some shape by the end. 24.1 at the moment. See what that is by the end of the lap. Seb right over the curb there. A bit wide goes the driver on 14 points. Callum 1.2. This race is not over in terms of people outside AlphaTauri. Callum and Eggy getting in on the mix. Remember, these two fought over P3 on the final lap of the opening Grand Prix. Ended with Eggy winning out. This time he's right behind the Haas. And Callum, who's had a few unfortunate races this season, finds himself fighting up there in the Haas at their home Grand Prix. Kua right on the back. Looks like he's found more pace. Will the AlphaTauri swap again? Seb in the slipstream of his teammate. They can lose time here with one trying to slow down like that and one trying to overtake. You can see Callum pretty much with them now as one has to let off. As down the inside goes Kua, potentially on Eggy. Eggy on the softs, he might pit this lap. He does indeed. So Kua carries on ahead. And the gap is now 22.8. He's taken 1.3 seconds, has Nick on this lap. Nathan, 3-second time penalty. The two AlphaTauris carried on. Callum pretty much within a second now. Is within a second. Kua just falling a bit off outside of it now. So Eggy pits. There's Nick coming to cross the line. As we've got a yellow. And it's Chasmeister again, I think. Carries on. All good. Right, Eggy exits the pits. Where's Nick? There he is. Eggy's still ahead of Nick by 2.3 seconds. Did Nick make a mistake? Not too sure, but whatever the case, it's pretty much the gap that it was. If anything, it's gotten a little bigger. Right, so the top three all within DRS. Kua's losing hand over fist here. So much time as Logan right on the back of Cal to the inside. It's been coming for a while, and this time Logan has got ahead of AFC Callum, and he's up in a P5. It's taken him pretty much 10 laps to do that. And Callum can't defend. Cargos Blanc closing up to him as well. Frosted Life not a million miles away. Let's see, Eggy 20.3. We got a yellow. Oh, what's happened there? Wait, what car was that? Was that Blanc? No, was it? Oh, it was, wait. So much. So it was Chasmeister again, and Cal again causing yellow. So the two at the back causing yellows. Those three carry on. So does Kua. Logan carries on. So does Callum. Cargos Blanc. Frosty. Eggy. Right. Eggy 20 seconds behind the leaders. We'll see what that is at the end of the lap. Logan currently 8 seconds to the next car. Kua has fallen off the pace of the top three. Callum has really found it to join the battle of the top two. I'm sure Logan will be kicking himself on that qualifying lap he did. He just had one corner to navigate and he could have been right with them. But for now, from the complexes of a full wet weather qualifying to intermediate levels to a fully dry race, these tier 2 drivers are going to go through everything as we approach the halfway stage of the race. So the mediums will be wearing off and they'll be putting the hards on unless they can go longer and put the softs on. Little slide there for Josh and Callum. That allows Seb to get a bigger gap. No percent really for either of them. Kua saving his battery a little. Logan on the charge then, dispatching Callum, and Cal's out of the race, but he's in the pit lane, I think. That's unfortunate to see. So he becomes the first retiree. And let's see, does Seb pit? No, but Josh does. And does Kua too? Yes, he does indeed. So making sure not to speed. Do the two. Right then. Interval leader Eggy was 20, it's now 19.3. He's gained about 8 tenths on this lap. Right, Kua in, puts the hard compound tyres on, so does Josh. Eggy comes across the line then. He's got ahead of the Alpine. There's the AlphaTauri of Josh. This is going to be close. He's heading into turn 1. It seems like Josh may just be ahead, but it's going to be close between Eggy and Josh. Josh is ahead of Eggy. Nick is ahead of Kua, who's really been lost out here. Lost a lot of time. He's behind Nick, and he's ages behind Eggy and Josh, who are going to be fighting here as AFC Callum gets overtaken by Cargos Blanc to the inside before they even get to the DRS bit. Callum may have the DRS to come back at him. He does indeed. And Josh may be under pressure from Eggy, who's put the mediums on, I've just realised. So he's going soft medium, so those are going to be right out of wear by the end of the race. Josh lets him go. Not really anything he can do there, as AFC Callum did get back ahead of Cargo's Blanc. Logan looking like he will go long. Callum has dropped quite a bit from Seb, actually. Obviously Josh was in between them. As we're about to approach the halfway stage, Bluey versus Nathan on exit into turn 3. Chasmeister being lapped behind the two Alpines, who are in no man's land at the moment now. Josh back within DRS, or has DRS again. Seb and Callum into the pits then, no speeding. What will Logan do? Does he gamble to stay further out, waiting for a safety car? Does he kit? Does he pit? He decides to come in. Callum staying out. Cargo's Blanc in. Frosty Life stays out too. So Eggy, fastest lap of the race, towing Josh along. And where do they come out? They're miles clear of Seb and Callum. There's Nick into turn 1. And they'll get easily ahead of them. But they are 2 seconds. Look at that. Seb was leading this race, and now he's 2.3 behind his teammate. Oh, sliding out there. And Frosty goes wide, losing positions. And he holds up Josh. Due to that, luckily Josh keeps with Eggy. And now Callum's going to come under pressure from the lead. 4 drivers fighting now, and this allows Seb to already gain half a second on them because of that. Yeah, massive slide from Frosty on the oldest tyres with Callum. And Eggy not quite close enough for any sort of move. 4 remain how they are. Nathan as the 2 Alpine swap. As Frosty versus Josh there. Don't know what happened there. Oh my god, Eggy taking the lead there then. Down the inside, Callum hangs it around the outside. A little bit of contact. He wants to keep wheel to wheel here. But Eggy on the inside. Callum's going to keep his nose around the outside, but loses the place. And Josh capitalises on that. And Callum drops down from 1st to 3rd. And now Josh has the DRS. Whoa, very close to the wall there between Callum and Josh. Don't really know why he's getting in the fight here. Josh within the slip of Eggy to the outside. Seb on the inside of Frosty Life. Josh makes it wheel to wheel with Eggy for the lead of the race. Down the inside goes Frosty to tap Callum round. And those two who haven't pitted come together. And they still stay out, which is causing a hindrance of botherance to these people who are not pitting, as Seb to the inside. Very close to the wall there. Into P3. Frosty still holding up Callum, who's still ahead of the other Callum. So Josh Hewitt now leads the Grand Prix. Chasmeister out in the pit lane as well. Josh leads then, 4 tenths ahead of Eggy on the mediums. Seb clearing Frosty, who's right under pressure from Callum. Callum all over the rear of the Aston Martin, down the inside. He may not get the DRS though. AFC Callum under pressure from Kua, who's telling him to get a move on. Flashing is he, but Kua's got so much ERS saved. And he's right behind him, he's pretty much pushing him. No moves happening at the end of the straight. Going deep there is Eggy, and going off. Trying not to run to the back. There's Seb to go around the outside of Eggy and into P2 to make it an AlphaTauri 1-2 again. Eggy going deep there. Callum versus Frosty, holding up the Alpines so much here. Turning in really early as Kua, nearly hitting the wall. These two haven't pitted, causing a lot of botherance for the Alpines, allowing the top 4 to streak away clear. So it's as they were, really. But yeah, Eggy made a mistake there, went deep, lost a position. Frosty versus Callum. Callum under pressure from the Alpine too. Will they decide to pit this time now? Frosty goes deep to hold off Callum. This might be a switchback move for Kua, who can get the pair of them. Look at that. As do any of them come in? No, they still stay out. And this is going to be a problem for Nick now, as they're still battling. Is the Ferrari and the Aston Martin into turn 1, then wheel to wheel. Between Callum and Frosty, round the outside goes AFC. If they're really trying to go for the softs at the end, they've caused a lot of bother for the leaders. Logan, still 8 seconds behind, hasn't gained anything. And still under pressure from Cargo's Blanc for P9. Seb not quite within a second. Does Josh back off to give his teammate DRS, or does he streak away clear? Seb far enough ahead to make sure Eggy isn't going to overtake him, but Cal is close enough to Eggy to make sure he can overtake him. And Eggy is quite in a spot of bother here on the medium compound tyres. Those are not going to be great if he carries them to the end. And wheel to wheel once again, Frosty versus Callum. Nick tries to switch, Callum goes off. And Nick getting held up so much, he's lost so many seconds to his teammate, who's already cleared the chicane. Warning there for the Alpine. 70%, 76, 14 for Callum. Nothing happening further front. Here comes Frosty. To the inside with DRS. And flying past goes Nick to get the pair of them. Later on the brakes, there's Frosty, there's Callum. Nothing happening. Callum, little whack of the wall there. Do they pit? Callum finally decides to. So Frosty does tend to like going long on the tyres, but Callum's called it. Coming into the pits, he'll drop down to 10th. Bluey and Nathan gaining on each other, the only two with penalties. Callum on the softs, interesting. But yeah, Eggy on 6-lap old mediums. Still got to go another 13 laps on them. And already he's been left by the top 3. As the Alpines have been thoroughly spaced out due to overtaking people who haven't pitted yet. And here we go then, Seb is back with his teammate. And Callum is along for the ride this time. And then sliding out as we begin the final sector of lap 17. Is this a change of leadership as Seb is blasting his battery? It seems like he will try and get past Josh. He was the one who got pole position. He's the one who wants to convert it into a win. 1 win to his name against Josh with 5. And that came 1 and a half years ago at Baku. Last week was Baku, so 1.5 years and 1 week later. Seb wants to win as we start lap 18. And Josh is going to come back at him with Callum right behind. No changes yet. Seems like these guys, whenever they try and sit behind in the braking zone, they can make mistakes like Eggy did and go very wide. Kua 2 seconds, he's gaining on Eggy. Nick in a world of his own as Frosty will have to pit soon. Logan has caught up a little bit. He's bringing Cargo's Blong along with him. Actually, yeah, no, Logan hasn't really caught that much. It's Nick who's lost all the time. Anyway, back to the front 3, the closest battle. Josh not close enough to Seb. None of them are saving any ERS here, as it is quite tricky to do so. Cargo's Blong gets his first penalty. 11 seconds for Nathan as down the inside goes the AlphaTauri of Josh to take the lead back ahead of Seb. That was an aggressive send, but he retakes the lead perfectly fair. And now Seb's turn on the back straight to get back ahead. Once again, another slide from Josh, exiting the chicane. Just Cal watching this all unfold, waiting for the moment to strike. He knows he's against 2 people who are going to work together to maintain the 1-2. Australia, they maintained it for so long. Baku, they maintained it for so long. 3rd time's the charm potentially in Miami. Seb retakes the lead, back ahead of Josh. And at the moment, they know these 3 will be the podium. They know these 3 will get a lot of points for their respective teams. But we know these 3 all want to win the Grand Prix wheel to wheel. Then once again, the 2 AlphaTauris giving a great show. But at the moment, Josh stays behind with 10 laps to go. Logan on the back of Frosty, under pressure from Cargo's Blong here. So another 3-car battle. Frosty still yet to pit. Those tyres have done 20 laps, nearly. And you can just tell with his exit, he's going to hold a Logan up a treat here. Logan going to blast his battery. Can he try and go on the inside? Then this is going to be a risky move, but he has the momentum. He's further ahead, and he's through. And now Cargo's Blong will have to try and get past. You can just see how much he's struggling, and a little bit of contact there due to it. Cargo's Blong will probably be able to get past him, but he's still going to have DRS, does Frosty, or does he? As he's saved up nearly all his battery. He just lets him go. No, he didn't have DRS, so Cargo's Blong will be ahead on no battery. Whoa! Up there! Kua! The Alpine, I don't think there's any damage. Made a mistake there, lost him time, but no positions. He's still miles clear of his teammates. So yeah, mistake there from the debutant. But a P5 on debut would be great for him, as P6 with Nick. Obviously they were both on the second row and currently 5th and 6th. So as much as they went backwards, it's still a solid debut from them to get great points. Logan, you never know, could take Cargos Blanc to gain on Nick, maybe even Q if Logan can salvage a top 5. It would be a strong comeback. Seems like the top 3 are too far ahead, unless there is a safety car. We've still got 12 cars left as Callum gets ahead of Josh Hewitt at a strange place, but then again Logan got ahead of Frosty. So Callum splits the AlphaTauris then, and proving to get right back into the action. Both Callum, as Frosty comes in, both Seb and Callum are both on 14 points here. They're both level on points, but this time Callum, for the first time all race, seizes the chance to take the lead of the race as Seb squeezes him right up to the wall. But this time Callum is into the lead. Seb tries a switchback, but Cal will have the inside to hold off and get both AlphaTauris on lap 20. Seb proving to show aggression in his driving more and more. But at the moment, all fair, all good. Josh watching this all unfold, nearly a second behind. But none of them bothering to save any ERS, really. Eggy watching them get further and further away every lap. So yeah, both of them on 14 points, while Josh Hewitt on 48. Eggy behind knows, whatever happens, he's still leading the championship after this. Unless he falls even further back. Right then, Logan, 1.5 to Nick, he's gaining on him. Bringing Cargos Blanc along with him. Kira not really gaining on Eggy, if anything it's current pace, slower pace, even slower pace. Right, 8 tenths exactly between second and third to second and first. Bluey versus Nathan for P11. See how this goes. No ERS for the pair of them. Right, Bluey will go to the outside then, Nathan to the inside, wheel to wheel, Ferrari versus Mercedes. That's been a topic today. And at the moment, Ferrari stays ahead for now. AC Callum, wonder if they can get fastest lap. Who has it at the moment? It is Callum by 30.8. 4 tenths ahead of Q. It seems like Callum's got some really good pace around here, showing the home fans some delight. And 1 second between Seb and Callum. Seems like Seb is dropping off here. Remember in Baku, when his tyres started to fall off towards the end, he had no race pace, and at the moment, it's made him drop out of a second here. And does he allow his teammate to challenge? A little bit of a slide there. Seems like Josh will have to overtake his teammate, and hopefully with the DRS he has, will bring him back into DRS with Callum. Bluey too far behind to challenge Nathan. Callum can just hold on. P9 gets first points of the season. Logan now on the back of Nick. He's left Cargos Blanc a little bit. He's struggling for battery here. And Josh did not overtake Seb. Eggy in. Interesting. So Eggy's pitted for softs. He's going to be very quick. He'll come out easily in 8th ahead of AFC Callum, but behind his teammate. That is a shock. Because I thought he was generally going to try and take those mediums to the end if AFC Callum and Frosty could, as he sets the fast lap. 29.9. What are the leaders doing? Okay, so around 2 seconds. The Miami pit lane, it's not the longest, not the shortest, so how far is Eggy off? 23 seconds. Ooh. Well, if he can at least get back up to 4th, he's not lost anything. But he's going to gain 10 got 10 seconds as Logan dives it to the inside. Goes off track in doing so to get ahead of Nick. Interesting. That was reported probably be best for him to give the place back. But if Nick gets him on the DRS, it won't matter. He has 84% saved. Little kiss to the wall there goes Cargos Blanc. And Nick is going to try and blast his battery to get back ahead of Logan. In the slipstream goes the Alpine then. Down the inside, all is good. Nick back up into 5th. Right then, already half a second gain, Eggy to the leaders. And yeah, Seb now outside of a second of Callum. Who, as much as he got his first pole in Australia, is yet to win a race, is Callum. He got his first podium in the final race of last season in Abu Dhabi. Very happy about it. As Bluey and Nathan once again fighting Ferrari v Mercedes. We had Josh win the opening race, Marine, who's been promoted, win the second race. And then the last 2 races have been won by both McLarens, of Cal in Australia getting his first win. And this man, Logan, trying to get past Nick for P5. This time, can he get it on the brakes? As this time he's going to go around the outside. As Josh Hewitt now has a 3-second time penalty. So Logan later on the brakes around the outside. Just about clears Nick. That was inch perfect with his rear tyre to Nick's front wing. And Logan now up into 5th, 3 seconds off Cure. But Nick will be challenging all the way with a lot of battery saved up. But now Josh Hewitt has a 3-second time penalty. So that pretty much rules him out of favour of winning this race if Seb and Callum do not get any. But Seb back into a second. These two yet to win a race. It seems like we will get a new race winner this season. Eggy ahead of his teammate already. He sees Logan and Nick swapping positions again in front of him. So Eggy already down to 20 seconds. He's gained 3 seconds with 5 laps to go now. Exactly the same gap once again. So it's going to be Seb versus Callum. Both on 14 points. At the moment, one's going to be on 39. One's going to be on 32. As, yeah, Frosty did steal fastest lap from them. Eggy down to 19.3 already. He's past Logan. Round the outside goes the championship leader. He's made another move. And now he's going to be down the inside, attacking. And now he has to stay behind on Nick to get the DRS. And he'll be well clear, up in a 5th already. And the 2-stop for Eggy seems to be, well, it's not lost him anything. It's in the state, he's got no battery. We've got a yellow, and it's AFC Callum. Spinning around, that's caused a safety car. And that's completely changed the face of this race. Eggy was about to get Nick for 5th. He was probably most likely going to get Cure for 4th, meaning he hadn't lost anything because he was 4th when he pitted. But that has completely changed this race. And Josh Hewitt's going to be kicking himself. What do the leaders do? Surely they have to pit onto softs. Into the pits come Callum and Seb. Josh stays out. No, he doesn't. Who was that? Oh, no, it was Bluey. Right, leaders pit. AlphaTauri are not going to even lose anything, even if they double stack, because there was a big enough gap behind. Alpine, however, even though Eggy tried to get Nick, he may still get Nick if they both plan to double stack. But Eggy on those softs anyway doesn't have to pit. This brings Logan back into contention. Whoa, Cargo's Bong trying to overtake Logan in the pit lane. Fails, and no love lost there. Right, so Eggy stays out, and he splits the AlphaTauris then. Interesting. So AFC Callum has caused this safety car and still carries on then. With no front wing. This brings Bluey and Nathan back into it. But they are lapped. Well, Nathan is. Interesting. What does Nathan do then? You've got Callum, Seb, Callum, Seb, then Nathan, then Eggy, then Josh. Does Nathan pit? Does he try and overtake them? He can try. He's going to be 12th. He's going to be last anyway. He's got the most penalties, so if it's worth the risk at no expense of the rest. It's Logan and Cargo's belong there. For some reason, that's acting up. Right, we're going to finish this race with quite the excitement here.
It'll be your next lap. Bluey's pitted, so I don't know if he knows, like, he's probably not going to catch the train here. Anyway, while they're all in the safety car, I'm going to catch up on what I've missed. Right then, safety car I think might be in this lap then, and Eggy hasn't been able to catch up. Nathan in the pack, going wide there as Cargo's belong. Right then, let's have a look at tyres. 4 lap old tyres for Eggy, everyone else on new softs apart from Nathan on mediums, but he will hopefully get out of the way, not cause anything between Seb and Eggy, as he'll have blue flags immediately. Callum will lead them then on new softs ahead of Seb, ahead of Eggy. Little one, but that's brought him right back into play, the championship leader. Josh is annoyed with the 3 sec, which could drop him down quite a bit, as if it stays out one more lap, we are only going to have 2 laps of racing. Cure, then Logan. Cargo's Bong also going to drop down, then Nick down at 8th. Frosty back in this with Callum. Get ready for chaos. Been building up. This race has been missing a bit of that element. And I think Bluey may just be able to catch them, as Frosty's in. He thinks he has a big enough advantage back to Bluey, and to only lose 1 position to Callum, to put newer softs on. And not lose any time from it. Now it's just going to be about who has the best race pace. There's going to be no DRS, so your only benefit is slipstream if you're not first. And who's going to win the Tier 2 Season 8 Miami Grand Prix? The 4th running of this track since Tier 2 Season 5. Nathan looks like he's just going to stay where he is, in between Seb and Eggy. Bluey, still not really caught them yet. Frosty has just now caught them. Callum, who caused this safety car in 9th, ahead of Nick. Cargo's Blonde with a 3 set, going to drop down. Logan could still find himself in the top 5 here. Cure could find himself 4th. Josh has to push like crazy. Will he take any risks? Eggy in 3rd on the oldest softs. Seb in 2nd. Wait, where's Nathan? Oh no, behind Seb, of course. Right, so Seb will fight Callum. Safety car, I think, will be in this lap then. It is, as Bluey has caught the pack. Callum will lead them away, still lagging a little bit there, giving heart attacks. And we will get this race underway. 2 laps of running then for the Miami Grand Prix. Safety car into the final couple corners. Callum will wait. Nathan
He needs to know that he can't just let them go, otherwise he's going to hold them up massively. Nathan, just go across the line as they've gone now, and hopefully all will be good. Nathan will hopefully move over and let them go. Yes, he does indeed. There we go, but he's still given quite a bit of a gap from Eggy to the rest. We've got a yellow, and hopefully that's just Nathan slowing down. So, Callum from Seb. Right on the back of him is Seb. Eggy, then Josh, then Cure, then Logan, then Cargo's Blong, then Nick, then Callum, Frosty, Louis Doggo, and Nathan a lap behind. Seb already on the attack then, as Eggy on those old softs just trying to stick with. Josh right on the back of him too. AlphaTauri looking feisty, as this is all about an ERS game here. Cal is now going to start blasting to stay ahead of Seb, riding on board with the AlphaTauri in the slipstream of the Haas. Same with Josh, who's already a second behind his teammate, as Eggy is trying everything he can to stay ahead. He's going to go for the outside. What about Seb? He's going to go to the inside on the end of the straight. Seb takes the lead back ahead of Callum. He's going to hang around the outside. Josh back ahead of Eggy, back up in a third. Callum can't quite get back into the lead. It's Seb who retakes the lead on lap 28 of 29 into the chicane. Can they all get it right as Nathan's left the session, as Nick is dropping down the order there? Frosty and Callum have got the pair of them. Cargo's Blong on the back of Logan, who's not quite attacking as much as I'm sure he'd want. Kira on the back of Eggy, who's already dropped down for the first time. He could be outside of a podium on the race, but the 3 second will gift him third. So Kira and Eggy fighting for the podium here, as we're seeing fights galore with both Alfa Romeos. Kira up in a fourth, and down the inside, Logan staying ahead of Cargo's Blong. As we start the final lap of the Grand Prix, Seb 38%, Callum 27%. Seb fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Josh doing everything he can to get that 3 second gap. At the moment he'll drop him down to P8, but with Cargo's Blong's penalty, P7. It's Callum versus Seb then on the last lap for the win of the Grand Prix. Callum using his battery now to stick with. It seems like Seb has got great race pace on the softs. When it came down to it, it looked like Callum had the best pace of them all on the hards. But at the moment Seb is surviving with 37%. He remembers from Vegas how he had no ERS to challenge the two Williams. And this time round, he's got the ERS to prove it. If you can let him go, maybe you'll still get the slipstream, as Josh is ahead of Kua, who may be on for a podium on debut. Eggy under pressure now from Logan, who could still find himself in the top 5. He's in the slip of the Alfa Romeo. McLaren versus Alfa Romeo, first and second in the standings. Round the outside goes Logan. Can he try and attempt on Eggy? Round the outside fully with Nick in a penalty. What a beautiful move from Logan to get ahead of Eggy, who's surely for the first time this season not going to stand on the podium. His teammates putting him under pressure too, and Eggy, the championship leader, falling down the order. So 3 laps more on those softs just proves how much you can lose. Seb trying to break the toe here, and just like last season, it's going to be a close finish, but with Callum's barely any ERS, Seb barely any ERS, into the final corner. Does Callum send it for the win? Down the inside, he can't quite deny Seb, who's going to come round the final couple corners. He took his first ever pole after 96 attempts, and for the second time, X3BDV1 wins the Grand Prix. It's Seb on top, with AlphaTauri ahead of Callum. Kua on his debut gets a podium. Logan from last to 4th. Josh Hewitt holds off for 5th with his penalty. I'm sure he would have hoped for much more, but at least it's 5th and not 8th. Eggy is 6th for his worst result of the season, but it's still the championship lead. And Seb, it came finally for him, the win. And driver of the day, Logan, yep. Seb gets his 2nd win in EXFL Tier 2, the most experienced driver in history in this tier. Stands on the top step once again. Great fight from Callum all the way. He just didn't have the pace to challenge with the ERS. And I'm sure he'll be gutted because he was leading up until the safety car. But when it came to proper pace and ERS management, Seb learned from Vegas. And he hit the jackpot. Look at that, full house, 26 points for Seb. Logan does well to recover some good points from McLaren. And both of him and Josh gain on Eggy in the standings. A shame for Cal, who's taken a major blow to his hopes. Race director is going to be quite short, I think. That's actually more than I thought. Right then. Let's get Kieran. Seb, he's on EA, so I'm going to try and invite his other one. And who else? Callum. Well, he's EA too, so I don't think I can interview him. Right, Seb's asking, get me in that party. I think he's on his Xbox now. Right, still trying to get the winner in. There we go.
Jaden.
There we go.
Jaden.
He's in. Seb.
Jaden.
Seb.
I've done it.
He's done it.
Oh. Oh my God.
You able to include your audio?
I've included it. I've included it.
Cool, cool, cool. He's done it.
I've done it.
He's done it. Right, comeback season is on then.
100%. It's on. It's on. I said that to you.
Full-
I said it to you.
The full 26 points, the full house.
Oh. I don't know how to describe it.
Brilliant, brilliant, Ray. Seems like I mean I'm inviting Kira, but I don't know if he's joining. Anyway, you were on 14 points after 4 races before today. Now you've excelled to 40, the big 4-0, to bring
Oh.
yourself right back into the fight. I think Sven's on like 70 something, so you're not too far off.
Yeah.
Anyway, 96. Let's start right at the start. 96 attempts, but you finally got your first pole.
Yeah. That was a good lap. It was a good lap. I made a few mistakes, but altogether it was a good lap. Then I screamed quite a bit. So probably should. I started losing my voice. Should have probably go apologize to my neighbors, but then they heard what came after the race. But yeah.
Right, so first pole, which is great. Logan did the same last week and ended up winning, and you've just copied him.
Yeah.
So third time's the charm as well, because you and Josh led a great formation, great teamwork all race in Australia. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Same with Baku. Unfortunately, again, it didn't work out with the tyres fading towards the end and no ERS.
Yeah.
That, and also Vegas. Was Vegas looming in your head towards the end?
No, because in Vegas I was battling Mahin and who else was it?
Lighter.
Lighter. They're way too quick. So the fact I was able to stay with them, I was like happy enough with. I was happy enough with where I finished with that race. Don't get me
Right, and
wrong, it
then
was like it was looming in my mind that I was a win. But then I learned from Mahin, but not completely. I know he overtook me second to last lap, so I thought I've got to try it. Overtook him
mm,
second to last lap. Able just to conserve my ERS because I was in front again, and then down that down the last two straights, like the two big ones, I was able just to burn what I had left and stay in front.
Yep, brilliant mindset in the last two laps to regain the lead, fight Callum. When the gap got to 1.3, when Josh had a 3 second and he was behind you, when the gap went to over a second, did you think I may have lost this win now with Callum? On good pace with the hards as well. It looked like he was the quickest. Did it
Not
look like?
really. I knew I could claw him back because
And
of
what?
the in lap on the mediums. When he
All
was
right, and
out
what
of
was?
when he I was out of my DRS behind me, he dropped 7/10, and
All right,
then
okay.
and now when he was
So,
in front of me, same thing. He made a mistake, dropped 7/10 back in. I was back in DRS. And
so what
then,
was your reaction to the safety car coming out?
I think without the safety car, things would have got it way too hairy.
Well, with the whole pack close together, you two just excelled forward. Obviously, Josh with
Yeah,
the 3 sec, unfortunate for him to lose out, but still holding on to at least fifth because I
yeah,
think when we restarted, he was going to drop down to eighth, so he had enough pace to gain back 6 more points. But yeah, you got the move on Callum, a great move to the inside, I think,
yeah.
and
It
then
was
just
the
held him
inside.
off. And then Callum looked like he had one look, but he had the respect to not send it at the final
Yeah,
corner.
I, I,
And then
I,
yeah,
I respect him for that. But
1.5 years.
1.5
I wasn't
years.
there to commentate your first win. I'm here now
Here now.
for your
You
second win.
commentated my first poll though.
Yep. Pole to win 50% conversion. Well, for pole 100% conversion. So well done.
That's actually a fun fact about my league racing career. I'm 100% from qualifying on pole.
How
I
many
don't
poles have you had?
do.
Okay, well,
Hey,
at
hey.
least you come.
It's
Oh,
100%, 100%.
Leclerc's crying right now. Anyway, Seb on top for AlphaTauri. They won the opening race with Josh, and it's 5 different winners out of 5
And I'm gonna
in
break
Tier
that
2
streak
Season
next
8.
week.
Next
I've
week
jinxed
is
myself.
Imola, I think.
I've jinxed myself.
I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check.
I think it is in Miller, yeah.
It is indeed. Right, we will see you for the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in 7 days' time. Seb out on top for the Miami Grand Prix with AlphaTauri. He's back in this thing. And the most experienced driver may just pull up another surprise or two in the
I
few
won't.
races to come.
Maybe the next one, not this one coming, but the next one after that.